Hello and welcome to round number 3 of the Schaeffer's Turbo Series from Homestead-Miami. A little bit of technical difficulties here tonight. For Race First, I'm Matt Houston, joined by Dakota DeMade.
Hello, I'm filling in for Gary Gotso tonight. I'm hoping we can have a good race.
Sounds good. So we're going to head straight to the grid here, if I can pull that up. Again, apologize for the slight problems we're having with the stream tonight. Might be that snowstorm in the northeast causing some issues, but our grid here tonight, Julian Altena is on the pole, Chris Cothern P2, Christopher Kresge P3, Shane Coogan in P4, Simon Fell in P5, Gary Gotso, he was he the top of the chart? I know he was at one point in time, but was he the final top of practice there, Dakota?
No, Chris Cothern actually hit him at the
end?
The last minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So Gary's still got a fast car tonight. He's one to watch.
That's right. James Watson, P7, Dylan Hearn, P8, Andrew Spates, our winner from last week at Montreal, in P9. Jason Owens had a video card switch over earlier today in P10. Christian Jasper, P11. Robert Hodel, winner from 2 weeks ago at Michigan, in P12. And rounding out the field is Drew White in P13, Jeff Decino in P14, Adam Montgomery P15, and Tony Patty, one of our admins, P16. So we'll get this going. I see my stream is doing a little bit better now. I apologize for the quality out there, though.
Rest in peace to Jason Owens' 3090 NVIDIA card that died this morning. But luckily, he was able to get it switched over to his 2080 Ti and still join us for the race tonight.
That's right. Now I'm having some slight overlay problems, so let me get this sorted out. This is the perils of live broadcasting here. But yeah, we're going to have a 70-lap race here tonight. A couple drivers from the Cup Series in this particular race. Julian Altena, our pole sitter, included in there. And of course, Gary, as we mentioned, he will be joining us in the booth for that Cup race later, as will Dakota here in the booth.
Absolutely.
And we have our green flag on the field here. Julian Altena brings us home here. And we have a caution. I heard a crunch of carbon fiber. That appears to be
Christian Jasper.
And I know he's going to be disappointed in that. And there are no fast repairs in this on the ovals here in this series. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. We're just gonna go back to the restart and see what we can see. Oh, he was already spinning at that point. This is Christian Jasper, just a little bit cold tires.
Now it looks like Robert Hodel had a couple collisions there in turn 1 and turn 2.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. See if we can spot anything. Oh, okay. We also had, yeah. Oh boy.
Andrew Spates. It looks like he might be done too.
He also hit Drew White as well. It looks like actually Christian was just a bystander to all of that, and of everybody out there, he might be in better shape than some of the other cars that were out there. Christian Spates, our winner from last week. Unfortunate for him to go out this early.
Nothing is more frustrating than going out on lap 1 from something out of your control.
That's right. So, Julian Altena, our leader, under caution. Again, this series is for a little bit more casual drivers. Shorter races, they have a little bit less experience. The drivers in the series are hoping to move up to the longer races, the Cup Series, in future seasons. Just looking through the field. So Jason made it through. Our driver that had some mechanical issues earlier in the day with his car. Riley's Children's Hospital car. And he's going to hit the pit lane, it looks like, to top off that fuel. Get some fresh tires.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, he had gained a couple spots. I see Alex Van de Zandt from the Cup Series is also in chat here tonight, so we appreciate him watching before he prepares for the race later. I do think the stream has improved slightly, so we're going to look at that between races.
It never hit me that was Alex's username the whole time.
Yes, that is. So I'm just trying to work my broadcast here. So we have our admin Kresge is in P2. Cothern, who had started second, dropped back to third. Shane Coogan and Gary Gazzo and be in the booth later. Basically clean starts for all of them. It just some trouble with Robert Hodel back there hitting several cars. And I do think there's an incident limit somewhere. I'm not exactly sure what the limit is, though.
Robert Hodel was just given an end-of-line penalty from Chris Kresge.
Okay. So I think that's all fair. Took out a couple of good cars, it looks like. As we come back to green, see that Mustang pace car dive in as Julian Altena brings us back to the green flag. Cameras in the crowd get shots with their flash bulbs going wild. Oh, we've got a particular driver. I don't know if you saw that Dylan Hearn had a blink there, pretty big blink.
Yep, he's still blinking.
I know that admins were also discussing that between races in the drivers' meeting.
Yeah, it was a pretty big issue back in Michigan. I ended up causing a few wrecks because of it, so we'll see if any admins take any action tonight on that.
Yeah, maybe not as big of a deal with only 16 cars in this field, but when you have 30 cars that we're going to have in that Cup field, that's certainly going to be on a 1.5 mile oval. It's going to be an issue. And you can hear the cars are feathering the pedal already out here. As these tires just kind of go off already, this new tire model, this is the first taste that these drivers have got with these cars on the oval here. Adam Montgomery is our probably biggest mover of the race here, up from 15th up to 8th position. He was one of our Cup regulars last season, but he's driving in the Turbo Series tonight. So Drew White is out here running that Jeff Gordon livery. Have any thoughts about that, Dakota? About that car?
That is a good retro livery. I think it's one of the best looking cars in the field right now. Yeah. And shameless plug, yeah, I made it, but it's a good looking car.
There you go. If you're looking for a livery, Dakota DeMade, message him on the Discord and he'll get you hooked up. Heading back up to the front, we've got that Flying Dutchman, Julian Altena in the lead. Let them all so far here tonight as we complete lap 10. This field has really spread out. Let's go up to the blimp and see if we can have a look. I'm not sure if we have a blimp up here, though. We have a chopper, though.
Absolutely. We're already seeing a 5-second gap between the top 5.
Wow. So that's a preview of what you're going to see later tonight. and when you're in that cup race.
I'm wondering if it's just dirty air has that much of a long effect, or if the tires are already wearing out. It's tough to say.
I suspect it's the tires, as I see James Watson going inside of Gary Gotso. James Watson's running that Lincoln, I think it's Lionel, sorry, Lionel cars. Lionel racing car. Yeah, this feels a little bit like a one of the DW12 races from Fontana, like the first year that they went to Fontana, where it's just all about the tires. Big fall off. And I do see Christian Jasper did get back out into the race here, so he's up to 13th after he had a long pit stop, about a minute pit stop. He served that under caution, though. So not the end of the world. As we have a car, no caution, but I saw a car onto the apron there. Let me see if I can pull up who that was.
I think that was Robert Holdall. He was just saying he wrecked and that he was going to be leaving for the night.
Okay. It was, well, the one I saw was Simon Fell.
Yes, he's on pit road now as well.
Okay. Yes, he is. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened between them. As I go back to the replay, it was right when he was hitting the wall already. So he was gaining on Gary Gotso, and we're going to be a few seconds from this particular incident.
He just lost it coming out of turn 2.
No caution flag, though. So he was going, well, no, he was. I thought maybe he was thinking about going inside of Gary there. He loses it just on the exit. Yeah. Wow. Well, these tires, I guess it's going to be tough to manage.
Wonder if he was trying to loosen up that weight jacker a bit and just did a little bit too much.
Yeah, I suspect you're right. Again, these drivers have actually been running a completely different car the last couple races. They ran the PM18s in this league, and now we're running the IR18, and this has that new tire model, and so they're not used to it. And again, they're not used to those in-car tools either, with the weight jacker and the anti-roll bars either. As Kresge's kind of keeping up. It's a second between him and Altena, but you know he's staying in that range, and Cothern's another second back. Gary has dropped back a couple positions. Montgomery got by him, and Watson got by him after that restart, and then there's a big gap back to Jeff Decino, about 7 seconds from there. As I see Dylan Hearn is also on the pit lane. Christian Jasper, he's streaming. You might check out his stream. If you check out the Raceverse Twitter, then you can see a link to his stream that we retweeted. He'll be in car. Did you say he was in VR mode, or was that who you were talking about, Dakota?
He's in VR. I can post a link into the chat there.
Yeah, it might not allow it, but that's just the way YouTube works. So
Twitch TV/Cadhill, KADHIL.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you'd appreciate some follows on that channel, as well as we would like any likes, subscribes, and notifications with that bell for the Raceverse channel here. But I'm sure all of you guys out there are already following, subscribing to the Raceverse channel for these races we do every week.
I'm trying to find differences in between Julian and Christopher's lines, and it looks like Julian takes a much more outside approach, while Kresge is trying to go inside a bit more. But I'm worried that's going to wear down Chris's tires more.
But yeah, I can see how far he's going down there. I would think that would wear it down, but with this car, you would still want to. I'll go on board with Chris here, but you wouldn't want a little bit of air on that maybe inside tip of the wing. Just a little bit of air on that wing if you were following somebody. But, you know, obviously he's way down, although it looks like Julian's running a little low there now. Oh, we've got a caution flag. Well, it was not Julian. It was not Kresge. It was Christian Jasper this time. So you guys that went over and checked out his stream might have jinxed him a little bit.
Yeah, I just saw him shake his head in VR.
Might have got nervous. Hopefully, well, he doesn't have it on if he's in VR. But yeah, it's almost exactly what we saw from Simon Fell, except a little bit more spins on this one as he impacts, you know, coming off turn 2, he impacts that inside wall. And he's going to try to make it back to the pit. And again, we didn't get a caution on that spin from Simon, but this time we got one. And you can see Julian Altena hitting the pit lane.
His right front is completely disconnected, isn't it? That might be.
Yeah, I think that's probably done. So I was telling somebody.
No, I'm looking at a stream. He has 1 minute of required repairs and another 45 seconds of optional repairs.
Okay, well, if I was him, I'd probably take the optional. Especially with this new damage model, I think that's going to be more important than it used to be to take the optional.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling, I think it might have been Gary or it was somebody else, that I really haven't run the new tire model on the ovals yet, but I did run a few laps of practice at Indianapolis, and I brushed the wall like ever so slightly. But at the same time, the spotter crew chief told me that my car was toast and that I couldn't continue, even though I for the most part, felt fine. So that was kind of interesting. No fast repairs here either. And I see Jeff Decino and Jason Owens have stayed out. I bet that Jason is going to stay out and lead a lap, and then he's going to duck into the pits. I don't think you can survive with these tires, although with how much aero push that we might be having, maybe track position is key here. You might want to note that one. I bet Alex is going to be noting that one watching this here, that this is a little bit of a track position race, as we saw.
Ran 23 laps on these tires.
Jason's according to my stuff, he's on 21 because he did pit.
Yes.
With that first caution that we had.
It'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Lights are still on the pace car.
I'll be taking notes as well.
And he is going to duck into the pits.
He just wanted to get some more airtime for Riley's Children's Hospital. What a great guy, doing it for the kids.
That's right. Leads a lap, and obviously I don't have the points up here right now, but he's in the contention for the the PM for the Turbo Series, the Schaeffer Turbo Series here. He's running it every week. He's a major PM18 guy. Maybe not as much in the IR18s, but he loves the PM18. He might like there to be a few more short ovals than there are on the schedule. So Julian Altena will be back into the lead with Kresge in second. So I have to wonder on this restart if people are going to be more aggressive, knowing that you need to be in front of the car ahead of you. You know, like you don't want to wait around. If I was Kresge here, I'd want to be around Altena as quick as I can. And the good news about the stream quality here is that whatever issues that we were having at the start of this race that forced us to reduce the quality, we have now passed that, and we're not dropping any frames, so we'll boost that for the Cup race. That is the good news. Lights are out on the pace car. And we have a green flag. Julian Altena gets a really good jump there. Kresge's coming under pressure from Shane Coogan. Coogan looks to the outside. But cannot make it work. I thought I saw some smoke in the background, but it might have been some of that blinking smoke. Coogan's still on the inside here as they cross the start-finish line. Into turn one they go. I think he's going to make this work, and Shane Coogan gets around. Kresge looks low. Now Kresge, will he make it work? These guys are teammates, I know, in another series, that VOR series.
There's no teammates out here tonight.
No, there is not. And I could see Shane ran a little bit hard into that corner and had to back out of it, and Kresge got by. Wow, this tire fall off is just really big.
So I'm actually just noticing that Tony Patty is out of the race. 17 laps ago, he actually got into Robert Hodel coming off of turn 2.
Okay, that was when Hodel had called it a day?
Yes.
Well, Hodel, again, he was winner back at Michigan, and that's going to be a pretty bad points day for him. A bad points day for Andrew Spates, though, too, so this will be a real shakeup in this race as we complete lap 30. Not quite halfway through here. So, Dakota, are you thinking that you would have rather been practicing for this race after you've seen this tire fall off that we've got here?
No, I practiced earlier today at a fixed race in Las Vegas. So I got an understanding of how the new tire model works. And track position is going to be very, very important here.
Yeah, but not all ovals are the same.
You're right. You're right. So I can still get into good practice. Yeah. Like you said before, you don't really need to practice on ovals. So
possibly I said that. I see that Tony Patty is actually in the waiting room. I wonder if he wants to talk to us. Let's see what we've got here. Hey, Tony, we've got you in the booth if you're paying attention there.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. A little disappointed, but, what do you do?
Yeah, tell us about your incident. So that didn't cause a caution, right? But so we didn't get a replay of it. But I heard that Robert Hodel and you got into each other in some way.
Well, I don't think we physically made contact. It was kind of a mix of a couple of things. I missed him in the glare of my aero screen, and I caught him brake checking, not purposefully, but like he was hitting the brakes a little hard, and I think he just kind of threw me, and eventually I lost the back end of the car trying to make an avoidance.
Are you saying that you're using the brake pedals out here?
When the car in front of me brakes, I tend to tap those brakes a little bit.
Well, that's interesting. Tell us about just how the car is out here, because it looks a lot different than how I've seen a Homestead race go before in iRacing.
It's slick. I'll be honest. I came into this race and I didn't feel like I had the car underneath me completely, and that's with a little bit of practice underneath me. And the car itself it feels like the rear end consistently wants to get away from you on the turn 2. It's much different than what I'm used to, and yeah, it's much different. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, and again, this series usually runs the PM18s, so this is some good experience for the drivers here to get some experience with the IR18s before they move up to the Schaeffer's Cup Series here. So, well, thanks for joining us there. You can stick around all you want. I know that you'll be running some race control later tonight for the Cup Series, though. So,
yeah, me and Chris will be running race control. We'll be I'll be the one on the checkered line there throwing flags, and Chris is in the blimp.
Yeah, who's good cop and who's bad cop in that race control duo that you guys run?
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm a little bit more bad cop than Chris. Chris tends to want to see the good in drivers, and I tend to want to nitpick every mistake.
So everybody now knows that Tony Patty is the guy you need to go talk to, and give him the willpower birds after the race.
I'm going to break in here with an interesting development. It appears that Jason Owens and Jeff Decino have been disqualified.
Wow.
For passing the pace car. And they were not given any warning or any black flag. They were just disqualified.
Very interesting.
That only leaves us with about seven cars. 8 cars left on track.
Who was you said Jeff Testino and Jason Owens?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
That's news to me.
Yep. Yeah, I certainly have not. Well, let me think here. So, was Destino one of the cars that stayed out?
Yes.
And Owens was for sure too, because we saw him pit late. Anyway, the race has to go on though, regardless of what that is. We'll let the race control handle whatever that was.
Race control quietly tiptoes out of the room.
Yes. But that was an iRacing call. That certainly wasn't.
That's something Chris and I decided on early on, that we weren't going to have race control for the Turbo Series. We were going to let iRacing do its thing, and the Cup Series is something I'd almost say this is kind of experimental per se, whereas we're trying it out this season, seeing how it goes. We're working with a lot of third-party software tools to try and make sure that we're doing our job as most efficiently as we can. With the hopes that iRacing eventually flushes out race control, and even spotting controls would be super helpful.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing does a great job usually. We have however many thousands of races go off every day, probably. I don't even know day, but hundreds of races a day, but thousands a week, and they go off. Maybe there's some here and there. There's good and bad, but for the most part, for a service that's constantly running as many races as it does, iRacing does a great job. Back to the race, though. I don't want to talk about iRacing and race control too much, but Julian Altena is currently in the lead. We have Kresge in second place. He's got to be happy with this run. I know he was leading in that for the first race of the season, the PM18s at Michigan, and just had a light contact with another driver, and that threw him out of the race. But he was leading at the time, so probably some heartbreak there. He's got to be happy with a good run in here. Yeah,
Chris has been pretty intense on his practice, and I know the last 2 races hasn't been to his liking. I know he was really wanting to gun for a win. He sees Julian actually as quite the rival, and in talking with him, he really wants to stick it to Julian in a race with the pole position.
Well, we've got 2 admins of a league, right? That are, I guess they're rival with one another, with Julian in the Velocity Online Racing League, and then Chris is with the Reddit League here, the Schaeffer's Cup and Schaeffer's Turbo Series. So I can see the rivalry there. I can see also they've just got around, they're working on Christian Jasper, who had some contact early on, but is somehow, some way, still circling the track, and he's started 11th and he's running in 8th, so good run by him out here, surviving all the contact that he's had. I do think, Tony, that we do have a incident limit in this league, don't we?
Yeah, so I believe if you hit there's I think the 3-point markers. One after a certain, I think 7, you get a warning. I think it's like 10, you end up with a black flag drive-through, and I think if you hit the full 14, you are disqualified from the race.
Game over, man. At that point.
Yeah, we try to give everybody, as many chances as you can, and most of the time those incidents don't. As long as they're racing incidents, you won't. That's a word. Racing incidents, then you probably won't be penalized.
As I see, Shane Coogan is now working on Kresge for second place. It looks like Coogan's going to make that work at the moment as Kresge comes back. He's been working on him for the better part of the last 20-25 laps and finally gets around him. So he'll get a taste of some of that dirty air now. I don't know if you had any of that while you're out there, Tony. How you were being treated with the dirty air. Was it a problem? Because it kind of looked like it was.
Yeah, potentially. Potentially, it did feel like the car did loosen up as I got closer to Hodel. But, I mean, it's completely possible with the new update that they've made some aero changes to how the cars follow.
That's interesting you said that it loosened up as opposed to understeer or like, yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Well, I'm going to do a run through of the field here. So Julian Altena leads. He's about 2 seconds over Shane Coogan. Coogan just getting around Christopher Kresge there. It was about a 1.5 seconds back now. James Watson is in P4, starting at 7th. Adam Montgomery, our big mover, he started 15th. He's currently running 5th, representing Club Indiana, so that's good for him. I mean, Indiana Hoosier, maybe? I can't say everybody's a Hoosier, but I know Dakota's not a Hoosier. Are you there, Dakota?
I'm a Hoosier. What are you talking about?
Well, do you support the Hoosiers? As Kresge's now into the wall. No caution yet. Yeah, he just he toes it, and we don't have a caution.
And he is done.
We're gonna get a replay of that. See what
happened. To lose it out of turn 2.
Yeah, I was going to guess.
Just like Simon, and knocks off 2 wheels.
We have however many cars have lost it off of turn 2. So these guys in the cup will be noting all of that. Whoa, there were some sparks on that crash. And then there were 7 of the 16 starters.
15 laps to go. 16.
Possibly.
if they can all make it.
Yes. These tires seem to be falling off, and
yeah,
I don't know what the fuel window is here. It's probably about 50 laps, maybe 60. I have to double check my numbers on the fuel stints here.
I would think 60 would be too much.
Yeah, so at the 2-miler in Michigan, it was about like 36 to 38. I'll have to ask Gary when he comes back in what he thought the fuel window was, because he'll have the data from here. Speaking of Gary, he's running in 5th. So
yeah, I'm noticing Julian's getting a lot more. He's feathering the throttle a lot more. Looks like it's almost starting to get a little bit loose on him. So tires will be interesting for the next 13 laps.
Yeah. With that said, they're not really that far off of their best laps here. So Julian's best lap was a 26.499. That is the fastest lap out here. But his last lap was only half second off of that at a 27-second lap. So, I mean, you might have a full second at some tracks drop off, but, half a second isn't that bad.
Back to your comment about the Hoosiers. Am I an IU fan? No, I would not be an IU fan.
Okay.
However, I'm still a Hoosier because I was born in Indiana.
Okay, that see, I wasn't sure 100% how that works, so thanks for clearing it up for me.
No problem.
So Montgomery here started 15th, running in 4th, so really good run for him. Bringing it home. So I'm so glad that we're not running Reddit names anymore, because that was one of the names that I was butchering last season. So
Monty goes ham.
yes,
Monty Gosham.
Monty Gosham. That's right. So
I don't think I'd want my Reddit name read on a broadcast.
the best one is he's not here anymore, unfortunately, because he was I think he was in Spain. But Weja Booty. Who knows if that was the right name or not, but that's what I said, as we have 10 laps to go here. The Schaeffer's Turbo Series from Homestead-Miami, Florida. How's the, Tony, where are you at? Are you getting some snow today?
We had snow all day today, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, I wasn't sure if, because Kresge's in Pennsylvania, so I think they're getting a little bit more than... here in Indianapolis, we only had about 2 or 3 inches, and it mostly melted by the end of the day. So,
yeah, luckily Cincinnati does a really good job infrastructure-wise, keeping the roads clean.
that's good. I almost want to ask you more questions about how good the infrastructure is, but I'm not going to go there. So Watson just okay, sorry, I was thinking Watson was Montgomery there, and because I saw Montgomery, and okay, he's in 4th and Watson's in 3rd, so Watson, there was no change of position there. Yeah, if Chris wants to come over and talk about his race, this would be a good time to do it, but I don't know if he wants to.
Shane Coogan has cut off about 0.2 in the last 3 laps. We'll see if he can get any closer.
That's a good point there. I'm going to go on board with Coogan here. I see his last lap was a 26.9 to Altena's 27.1. So like you said, 0.2 of a second there. He has enough laps to maybe make this work.
Down to 1.1. It's going to be tough.
He's getting in
the
DRS range.
When you get closer. Yes, he is. I think we need to put push to pass on these cars in the ovals. Can race control overrule that?
You know what race control can do? They can boost the engine power. I've never tried it, but the host of the session can like do some engine power change. I've never tried it though.
Looks like Coogan made a mistake coming out of 4, and he's going to lose about 0.3 to Julian.
Yeah.
Might just about wrap up this race.
Yeah, I think so. I saw him really scrub the tires there. These guys are just really working that wheel, and just one little mistake and you drop 3-4 tenths. And Jasper, again, he had all those issues earlier on. No fault of his own. He's up to 7th from starting 11th. And Gary just got around Adam Montgomery there for the 4th position. I think Gary's kind of been just sitting there, conserving his tires. And, you know, he caught up to some of the guys that have worked the tires a little bit more as Montgomery tried to go inside of Gary and just completely lost the front end of the car and scrubbed up the track. Whoa, he's really high. Montgomery's tires are toast, I have to imagine. As we are on 2 laps to go, we're about to come down to 1 lap to go.
Julian has led almost every lap so far. I think there's only one he missed.
Other than a couple, maybe Decino led one too. So we're on the final lap. white flag. Julian Altena is going to bring us home. He gets out of the second turn there, so I think he's pretty clear sailing at that point. And this will be his first victory in the Reddit IndyCar League. He comes across the start-finish line. Coogan comes home P2. Watson's going to come home P3, and Gary Gazzo, who will be joining us in the broadcast booth later tonight, in P4. Montgomery, who started at 15th, comes home 5th. Lost a spot there to Gary at the end. So now we're going to get an interview with Julian, number 1, our winner from this race. But you're going to have to do this race 126 laps of this. What do you think about that, Dakota?
This will be an interesting one. I didn't think it would be an attrition race tonight, but after watching this, it looks like it might be. Turn 2 is going to be the biggest thing to watch out for. And we'll see what happens.
Well, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Your first broadcast, I believe, as Julian Altena is going to do some donuts, I think.
Good luck tonight, Dakota. Matt, thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Thank you,
good luck
Tony.
in race control.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, well, I'll leave you with Julian. Tell him I said congrats.
Okay, well, good luck tonight, and bring one home for Sunset Arctic and Voltic Pistol.
I'll do what I can.
Good luck.
It's gonna be a checkers and wreckers type of race, I think.
Could well be.
All right, see you guys.
Talk to you. That was Dakota DeMade in the booth. We're going to get an interview with Julian Altena here in a moment. Let me get that all brought up here. All right, we are back. Hey, Julian, got you in the booth. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is your first victory in the Schaeffer's Turbo or Schaeffer's Cup Series. How do you feel?
Pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. It was a real challenge to stay up this late. It's 2:48 in the morning right now, and I didn't really get too much sleep last night, and I got another chemistry exam tomorrow at 9 a.m. So yeah, it's gonna be a little difficult, but I mean, to pull off the win is great. It was just mainly to practice for the Cup League, which is, I believe, in, I don't know,
45 minutes until qualifying.
Yeah, so that was really the entire point for me to do this race, just to get some practice in with the new tire model. And yeah, it worked out quite well. Feeling pretty good about the Cup race, so we'll see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, tell me about, it looked like you guys really spread out. With 30 cars in the field, that's going to be a lot of spreading out between everybody. And certainly cars were having an issue coming out of turn 2. Did you have any issues there?
Yeah, but to go through the spreading out first, it was really difficult to stay behind the car. The DTM was just so big with the new time model as well. Like, no oval is really flat out anymore, even in traffic. The most ovals you really have to lift a lot, especially around here, because the radius is so tight around the turns as well, and then the progressive banking too. So that all plays a part in having to lift and really drive the car around the track. And it's great to be having to do that on the ovals as well. But about turn 2, the bump on the inside is pretty much removed with the new update to Miami. But on the outside, where I was running most of the time, because that's the fastest way around, the bump was still a little bit there, and it was really upsetting the car as well. So after like half of the fuel tank, you really had to move the bars to the opposite of what you were running to not spin out. So it was really difficult to manage that, at least for me personally. Don't know about the rest of the guys, but yeah, I mean, I pulled through and won, so I think I did it pretty well.
Well, I wouldn't give too much advice to the drivers that are coming up in the following race, but hopefully they're not listening to this. So we'll see.
I think many people are underestimating the Turbo Series, so I think they're not really listening to this, like you said. So
I think you're probably right. So, well, congratulations on the win there, Julian, and good luck tonight and the Cup Series.
Thank you, man. Hopefully see you then.
We got Shane Coogan in here too, so I'm gonna get an interview with him too.
Cool. See ya.
See ya. Hey Shane, this is Matt up here in the booth. I've got you. I don't know if you've got me though.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, well, congratulations on that second place. Tell me, well, I'm just gonna say we've been watching you. Me and Gary have been watching you in the last couple weeks, and we know that you've had kind of a struggle, no fault of your own. So it's really good to see you up here on the podium here in the Turbo Series.
Oh, well, thanks, Matt. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, some things you just can't control, but I think you said you just got to get back in another race. That's the best thing to do, right? But
yeah, I think I said that at some point in time.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. But no, it was fun. Setup was really tricky. Like, I think Julian did that on purpose. He's a clever guy, but it didn't have was really stalling out, so it was pretty tough. But it was fun. It was a really fun, like, difficult challenge. So I think the big one tonight will be pretty interesting.
Well, you proved that you could pass people, at least. So, you should have an advantage there, being that you're one of the few guys that really pass somebody legit on the track. So you'll know how that works anyway. So
cool. I think so. I know somebody. I know Chris made a mistake, and that was a big part of it. Just kind of waiting around and trying to avoid mistakes. But yeah, you have a couple laps, man. A couple laps to make a pass, and I think the new build's probably more realistic. But it's it's like I said, you'll have to pull some moves for sure. But
it reminded me a little bit of like when the DW12 came out and the first race at like Michigan, or not Michigan, Fontana, or the one at Texas, where it was like the tires just went off completely after 2 laps. Yes.
It kind of has that same issue. It's just like understeer going in the corner, and then on the exit, it just wants to swap ends, and you just have to find that little window. And it seems like the tires slide a lot more, and you have to kind of find that optimum slip angle or whatever. But it's fun. Definitely enjoyed it.
Well, supposedly you can catch it a little bit more than you used to be able to, so that's probably good with how much it's sliding.
Right, a little more drivable.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely pretty cool stuff.
Well, good luck in the Schaeffer's Cup race later tonight, and maybe we'll see you back on the podium there.
Cool. We'll definitely go for it. Thanks, man.
Thanks. Take care. All right. Well, that is our list of our interviewees. We're going to work on our quality here. It looks like, so we had some issues at the very beginning. We're going to go offline for a moment and bring everything up. So this is your final running order here. We'll be back about 9:30 tonight. And we'll see you there for the Schaeffer's Cup race.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud of.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing. Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Hello and welcome to round number 3 of the Schaeffer's Cup from Homestead International Raceway in Miami. For Race First, I'm Matt Houston. Hopefully our quality is a little bit better for this race. Joined by Gary Gatsu, who ran and finished 4th in the race earlier tonight. Hey, Gary.
Hey, what you see out there in the haze, that is not Florida humidity. That is actual tire smoke, where these guys have found the same challenge that the turbo drivers had coming off of 2, getting super loose, snap loose, danger loose. And you're going to see that a little bit in the turns 4, coming out of turn 4 as well. And the sparks you see, definitely not fireworks. Those are cars and the mag rims hitting the wall as the cars scrape it. So this is not your old Homestead and iRacing. This is an all new deal. And you're going to see that the times that used to be around here or a whole second faster are probably a thing of the past. And back race, if you're expecting one of those today, not tonight either. You're going to see real drivers go to the front, folks.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be watching Julian Altena, our pole sitter and race winner from the race Turbo Cup race. We probably should have been keeping an eye on Dakota DeMay, though, but I wanted to keep an eye on Julian here.
Watching Dakota, and he just did a 263.
I flipped over to him, but we'll see if Julian can knock off that lap as well. Julian not running very many practice laps after that race earlier, just getting probably some rest.
He didn't need to.
No, yeah, and he just needed a rest and.
Wow, faster second lap. He's at best speed is actually 202.714 miles per hour. Actually, his second lap was a little bit slower. Sorry, he was a 26.333. He was just a 10th slower the second time around, which I figured would be. Oh, Van de Sant, 236 now is on the pole. So he is 300ths faster than Dakota. That's a 202.920 miles per hour.
I've got Coogan on here as well. He'll be fast.
He will be fast for sure.
And we'll see. It says Bensi out there, our winner from last week. It looks like he is not on the track yet. It's going to be a late qualifier, it looks like.
Coogan, first lap. Yep, 26.283, and I think he has another lap to go.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, he's still going, so we'll see what he can do. I'm going to flip over to Caleb when we can, though.
Yeah, was that turn 4?
He was visitor at Michigan.
down the main straight. Run is complete for Shane. Faster even still, 26.272.
Okay, so he made it up to the third position.
Yep.
Knocking off Gavin.
Yep, 202.643.
John Freeze out here, and he did a lap. He's in P15 as we wait for Bensi has not run a lap yet, or he has, but might have had an incident or something. I'm not sure. Okay, no, he has run a lap. He's back there in 8th. He's already completed it. Not the kind of lap he was looking for.
Yeah, he's going to have to capitalize on a really good start because passing here is very, very, and I'll say this one more time, very hard. With the new model and the aero push, you need to work for it, for sure.
Yeah, we could see that in that Turbo Series race earlier. I'm really interested in seeing driving these myself now. I haven't gotten a chance to drive them on a lap. I did a few laps at Indianapolis. Everything else I've been doing has been road course, street course racing. So I'll be interested in how these run on the oval once I get my opportunity to run them.
All right, I got Van de Sant out one more time. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he came one lap and brought it in. I'm showing him on the pole, though, so I don't know why he's still out.
Maybe he just wants some, TV time. So we'll be running through the grid momentarily. 20 seconds to go. So we get that seasoning chili car on there. He's going to take the pole.
Yeah, and I think he pulled it in on the next lap.
Yeah, I think
he already had the purple lap. He might have did one lap and did one more lap of practice. I mean, the guy is very strategic, and I would not be surprised if he's like, you know what, I can get one more lap of practice out of this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him because I think every lap of practice here counts. The series had a combined practice session the last couple days because of the new tire model and the new track, kind of the new track code. And I feel that all of that extra practice time definitely helped me. I think it definitely helped Julian. I noticed that the guys that were in the Turbo Cup that came to practice and spent a considerable amount of time there, those guys did well in the race. So I think the more it rings true with anything, practice makes perfect, right? But in this particular case, the more practice you get on this particular track to feel it out because it's new to everybody, it's only going to pay off when it really counts.
That's right. Well, let's go to the grid. So P1, Alex Van de Sant, pole sitter. Dakota DeMade, followed by Shane Coogan. Drew White, P4, so good starting position by him. Gavin Sanders, our runner-up last week, and Conor Baldwin. Gary, do you have the grid up there, or do you want me to go ahead and do it?
Oh, I sure do. Starting 7th is my my teammate, my pal, Julian Altena. Next to him is Dylan Blanton. Row back is your man, Caleb Bensi. Alongside him is Hayden Herman. In the next row, starting 11th, is Mark Johnson. And beside him is Nathaniel Johnson.
Back in P13 is Matthew Cosgrove, followed by Michael Berry, Christopher Albee in that IndyCar Racing 2 livery, starting back in P15, John Freeze in P16, John De Matteo in P17, Cole Stranahan in P18.
And 19th is Nicholas Isidoro, 20th, Adam Nash, 21st, Neil Lusher, 22nd, Angelo Espo, and with no time, and I don't know if they're actually going to be participating or not, but they're still showing on the grid. 23rd is Garrison Hogan, and 24th is Wes Shire.
And yeah, we've got one other driver, Joseph Decino. He's going to be in 25th. The admins show in 25th and 27th, but that rounds out our field. We got 126 laps here tonight. The Turbo Series ran 70 laps, unless I'm mistaken. But
you're right. It's the pace car. The pace car. I don't know what happened with the coating of the pace car, but I don't know if you saw in the turbo race, the pace car came out of the pits and immediately turned at 90 degrees and went right into the wall.
No, I did not see that, but I noticed when he drove off the when the green flag waved, he really took a left, a hard left turn to go in. So our pace car driver a little bit crazy here tonight, apparently.
Maybe it's the same guy from Detroit.
Yeah. As we have Alex Van de Zandt bringing us down, Dakota DeMade out there on second place. Dakota, he was in the booth earlier. He knew from that race earlier that getting into the front was really important here. So we have green flag on the field.
That tire spin's a thing here too, and I saw maybe a little spin coming from Coogan there. Coogan has a line on Dakota there. Dakota wisely let him go. It's a long race. Coogan looking to the inside, coming down the back straight into turn 3 on Alex. Alex probably wisely let him go.
Yeah, Alex runs that high line. He looks like he brushes the wall.
And he did brush the wall. He is into the wall. He's into the wall, and he collects a driver behind him, unfortunately. We're going to get yellow. I don't think we're going to get a yellow here.
Yellow. There was another driver involved in that. It looked worse than it's come out to be for Alex Van de Zandt. I saw, some net code. It looked like one of his tires almost came off. We'll get a replay of this, but he's showing all 4 tires on at the moment. So let's see what happened there. Wow.
I think an innocent bystander there was whoever's in the Jeff Gordon livery. I think might have picked
Drew
up.
White.
Yeah, he might have picked up and was he in the turbo race as well?
Yes, he was. You're right.
Yeah. So he's had some time in the wall this tonight, and he's probably wondering why the racing gods aren't being happy to him. He probably wonders what he did wrong, and probably he did absolutely nothing wrong. Just show up to Homestead.
Yeah. So we had. I'm not sure who this car is. Van de Zandt's car at first looks really bad, and then it kind of reset itself and looks a little bit better.
Yeah, we got Drew in the pits, extended stay. He's already there for 30 seconds. So he had some sort of damage that bestowed him on that particular opening yellow.
I'm trying to figure out.
So both the Turbo and the Schaeffer Cup drivers yellow on the first lap.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who kind of got into Alex there.
I see him as a green car.
Yeah,
green
I'm not
car.
sure what number is that?
Right there, right in front of the black car there, right behind Julian. I think he also possibly got
Gavin
into
Sanders?
that as well.
I'm not showing any green on his car. That's who I thought it was initially. Yeah, I'm not sure. Because he was moving up. Trying to go through the field here as it was probably Isidro was on pit lane as well. I think is that Neil Lusher? Yeah, I cannot figure out who that other car was. Anyway, Shane Coogan leads, powering to the front on that start there. And Dakota DeMade, he dropped back a position or two. He made it back into P3 or P2 though. I think the lights are going to be going off on the pace car here as we cross the start finish line. Okay, it's what you said. Conor Baldwin, that's the car. We finally found it. And what do you say about cars that have green on them, Gary?
You're on your own. That's bad luck. Hey, I tell you what. In the Velocity Online Racing Series, I used to drive a teal car, and a teal is a variation of green. If you go look it up, the actual definition is a variant of green. And even though I won one race in that car, that one race was a bit of an embarrassing win. And every DNF I had, I was wrecked by somebody else. and I caused an unfortunate accident at one race as well. Since being in the blue car, never had any problems. I don't know. I mean, some people, don't step on a crack, you break your mom's back or whatever. Whatever helps you make you do better. I think driving the blue car makes me feel a lot better. If you drive green, you are entirely on your own.
Yeah, I'm running the red cars, and I don't really like the red cars too much, but they certainly seem to make me a little bit faster or like more confidence. So that's always good to have.
And if you don't believe me, Google it. Green car superstition. It's real. It is real.
As we have pace car still out. I thought we might be going there, but we're not. I was going to mention, Gary, at least he's not number 13 with a green car, though, too. So at least he has that going for him.
Seen that. Who did? Was that? I want to say
there was Ernesto EJ Viso.
I want to Danica do that in a return race when she was racing with Carpenter? Wasn't she driving the GoDaddy number 13?
Yeah, she was in a green car, like a neon green because of GoDaddy green, but I don't think it was 13, was it? Or I don't know what her number usually was. It was 7, maybe? When he.
All I remember is just like, wow, that's like that's a double whammy. Like, you're completely on your own there. I don't want to be anywhere near you on the racetrack if you're 13 and a green car.
I did think that it looked like a really good car, though, but you don't want to upset the racing gods, so there's that.
So we got Conor Baldwin in third place, and I believe, he's showing, and I don't think he's in a green car, but on my screen he's showing a green car. So
he's green on mine. That's who collided with Alex there, but I think Alex could be okay here. We'll see what this damage model can do here.
All right, everybody give it the green. And there he goes. He's not waiting for that green. He's going.
As Dakota comes under pressure from Conor Baldwin. Dakota takes that low line.
Yep, took a defensive line there. The low line is not the fastest line, though. But he holds him off.
It looks like Julian Altena also looking to go inside of Conor. See, Conor, he was part of that incident, so he might be running just a little bit damaged and didn't know about it until they went back to green, as I see both Gavin Sanders and Caleb Bensi go by him as well. Caleb moving into the top 5.
I've been there where you didn't think you had damage, but then you had damage at the restart, and you just kind of, oh crap, I get on the radio, don't run me over, run me over. And you just kind of hope that everyone's paying attention around you, and then you just need to make it to the next pit stop. Now, for his advantage, though, because he's going slower, the tire wear won't be as critical for him.
Well, he's just hit the pit lane. I don't know if that's a penalty or he's actually making a stop.
If he came in off of turn 4, that is a penalty. If he came in off of turn 3...
He did it off the back straightaway, so he definitely thought that damage was beyond repair there, so... So again, resetting the field, Julian's moved up to, he started 6th, he's running in 3rd. He's actually started 7th, pardon, as we complete lap 10.
Starting to see a couple puffs of smoke on the backstretch, so some folks have gotten loose, and a little tire smoke there. Again, that is not the humid air, that is the nature of the track now.
Yeah, Christopher Albee in that IndyCar Racing 2 livery, he started 15th. He's all the way up to 10th already, so good move by him. Hey, he's running the number 52. That's one of your numbers, isn't it, Gary?
No, I'm either... typically, I've been running 3 as of late, but it's either the 51 or the 50 is typically for Van Halen there. But like I said, for him, his car would get an automatic pass just because it's just an awesome livery.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you're 52. I thought it was a 52 and not a 50 or 51. So Shane Coogan, he's already gapped a second over Dakota. Dakota's another second ahead of Julian, as these guys just struggle for grip. Caleb's on the outside of Gavin. He's going to see if he can make that work on the outside, as Dylan Blanton also looks to do the same.
some come on man dudes on the radio out there. So some unhappy drivers not giving enough room out there.
Yeah, see, and this is only going to get worse as the tires go off.
Yeah, and I'm seeing cars already at Caleb there, for instance, at a high exit. He's riding the high line. So I think some guys have already resorted. It's like, yep, I'm just going to go ride this high line.
Yeah. I know, let's see, where is Alex? So Alex, our pole sitter, he's in 17th. He's running that high line too. And I know Alex, he likes to run that high line. He was doing that at Michigan earlier this season. Obviously, he got caught up in something of not of his own fault. A car hit the apron and took him out. But
even the Fontana race that we were in at the conclusion of the Velocity Online season, he was riding the high line. He likes to live up there. Like I said, he's a strategic driver. He knows he could save his tires up there. If he can go a lap or two longer and catch, we got a spinner coming off it too, right in front of Alex. I don't know if that's going to get a yellow or not, but Alex knows that if he could be out there a lap or two longer than everyone else, that yellow hits, and we are going yellow. And just in that situation, if he was out there at a lap or two longer than somebody else and that happened, he'd be a lap up everybody on the field. So he knows what he's doing.
That's right. And I think we had two cars there. It might have been separate incidents, in fact. Okay, yeah, so Albee, IndyCar Racing 2 livery, he loses it. And then another car behind him loses it on his own.
Albee
Trying
looks
to figure out who that one was.
pretty damaged. I don't know if
it
this
was
is
Nate Johnson in the 48 car also was involved in that too. So they both just lost it on their own coming out of turn 2.
Well, and it's about that time of the run. We are, let's see, what lap are we? Should know this.
It's a lap 17. Oh boy. This new damage model really, the pieces fly off the car.
So he looks like Chris Albee got repaired. He's back on the track. So, but we also know that even without fast repairs, if your virtual crew can repair your car, it might not be the same afterwards. So he's probably going to feather-foot it around here. But he's got fresh tires and a full tank. This is a little bit before the window opens for the first stop. The first window is about 21 laps. So I would say everyone, if this close, if they're not already stopping already, here they come. They're all coming down pit road. It's close enough to stop. So here comes everybody wanting those new shoes badly.
Does anybody stay out? So, track position is key. I see Conor Baldwin.
Julian is staying out.
Okay, that's big. We'll see how that works out for him. These tires aren't that old, but the good stuff on them, the first 2 laps that you get, is all important. With this yellow flag, I'm going to go quickly to a word from our sponsors.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
And that was our Schaeffer oil. Thanks to them for title sponsoring this Schaeffer's Cup and the Schaeffer's Turbo Series. So Julian Altena out here on 18-lap-old tires. He is the only car to not come down the pit lane other than a couple lapped cars that stayed out. Conor Baldwin had to make that green flag stop during the race, during the green flag, after that initial incident. And so he's going to get his lap back, but he's going to have a little bit old tires.
Yeah, one thing that Julian and I talked about, we found out in practice, and we'll see how well he practices it here in practice, is one of the things we found out is even with the old tires, if you can get your aerodynamics, the bad air that you produce off your car to screw with the car behind you. It really doesn't matter if the car behind you has new tires or not. You can keep that car at bay for a little bit. So I want to see how long that Julian can keep Coogan at bay. Coogan's probably going to make quick work of Julian, because the longer he stays behind Julian, the more good comes off his tires. So he'll want to make quick work of Julian. But I think Julian could probably keep him at bay for a couple laps if he puts his car in the right position.
Yeah, it's not like these tires are 35 or 40 laps old. They're only 19 laps old, and this is 5 of those laps were probably under caution, maybe even more than that. So it's not like Coogan has a huge advantage of like half a stint. This is not even a quarter of a stint difference in tires. But I think it's Coogan knows that. He was in that turbo race, and he's going to know that he needs to get by Julian as soon as possible. And Dakota knows that because he was watching that race. we were talking about who knows how many people in this race were actually watching that race, because there certainly could have been knowledge gleaned from that race and how this was going to go.
Yeah, the lights are out on the pace car. I expect Julian to get a good jump here. That's two of the things that we really practiced were used tires and getting good jumps coming to green, especially when you have control of the field. He's right really close to the pace car. I'd give it a little bit more room so I can get position. Everyone's going to get in that normal defensive position up near the wall here in a second, as per most IndyCar races on iRacing.
That's right. Have to guard that high line. So Julian had some really good restarts in that turbo race, but I think Coogan's going to know that, and he's going to try to take advantage here.
If there's any driver that should know look how close he is, Julian is. Oh, Julian gets a good jump.
Yes, there was kind of a pack up of the field there. I wouldn't be surprised if some guys came over the radio about that one. But all is fair. The leader gets to go when they want.
Hey, Ron Hornaday was the king of the restarts in NASCAR, and he did many a brake and throttle check on keeping people behind him, and it's not against the rules, but nobody likes.
There was no brake check there either. That was just it was just a slow restart. So
nothing against the rules.
Nothing against the rules.
So as we see, Julian, I figured would keep Coogan at bay here for a little bit. The aero push has given Julian a half-second lead. We did notice that when Julian and I were doing practice on restarts, you could get out to about a half second to an 0.8 of a second lead just by getting a really good jump, and then the other car takes so long to catch back up because of just the new truck model and the new tire model. So this is not surprising that he's pulling this out even with used tires. And he's probably, since he decided not to pit, he's gambling now that there's going to be another yellow coming up here in the next 20 to 25 laps or so. And if that's the case, he's going to be kind of in the catbird seat.
As Caleb Bensey is putting some pressure on Dakota DeMay back there. Caleb on the inside. Again, he's going to be scrubbing those tires a little bit more, and Dakota's running that high line. And it's going to be saving his tires just a little bit more. But again, even when that happens, you're going to want, now Dakota takes the low line there. And it looks like Caleb scrubbed up the track.
Julian last lap green, Bensey last lap green, Herman last lap green, Isidoro last lap green, Hogan last lap green. So these guys are turning their best laps of the race now with these new tires. Cosgrove and Fries, sorry.
It's actually Freeze. It is Freeze. I asked him.
Okay, good. They both went green the last time by.
And he's got I think he had it last week, but he went out early in that race. But he has a really cool looking new livery there. Kind of reminds me of we had a driver running, we had two drivers. One was running a Blue Angels livery, and then one was running an Indiana State flag livery. So it kind of had this nice navy blue look to it. So it kind of reminds me of that.
My trading paints is not showing me accurate stuff. Nash and Lusher went green that time by. So yeah, everyone's Got a little aid of the draft, too, coming down the straights. You hear Julian going down the 4th gear, probably playing around in 4th and 5th, floating out high.
Yeah.
Exiting 4 there.
And you can see he's gapped to 2nd over Coogan there. So this is definitely the right call at the moment anyway, to stay out there, take the track position. It's kind of like, it's almost like a short track, what you do at, say, Richmond or Iowa, to take that track position, knowing that it's so difficult to pass. But we don't usually see that with the 1.5 milers here in iRacing.
Yeah, that was one of our big discussions in pre-race meetings, is track position, track position, track position. We never really experienced track position as bad as it's occurred on this track on a super, well, I guess you might call this a super speedway. You can get up over 200 miles per hour, but certainly on an intermediate track, I never really had to worry about track position in the past. But here, it was absolutely key on our minds as one of the things of, if there was an early yellow, we weren't stopping. If the window was open or if it was close, we were absolutely stopping. And then every yellow after that, pretty much, we're stopping and getting tires, especially if we're close in our window. So track position is super key here.
Well, I think it was Garrison Hogan was getting around Matthew Crossgrove back there, and he looked like he put a tire just a little bit on the apron, but he made it work. He kept it under him. It was a really tough pass for him, though.
Well, if that was about 10 laps from now with more worn tires, that's probably a wreck.
Yeah, I would say so. Now we've got side-by-side with Michael Berry, and as Michael Berry loses it on the back straightaway, impacts the wall. No caution at the moment. I think we're going to get away with this one not being a caution. He's going to have to make that his way back to the pit lane, though. We saw that live here, folks. We saw that in the turbo race, that a couple drivers lost it off of that turn 2, impacted the wall, threw debris on the track, but there was no caution here. Again, the debris.
Yeah, virtual debris, hanging quotes around that one. So yeah, that's iRacing. If there's no danger to the racing line, it will not throw a yellow. If that's a traditional race, a real race, that is absolutely a yellow.
So Caleb's working on Dakota. He might have made it work. Dakota's going to come back.
And do the over-under here. And I think Dakota's doing that right now.
I'm going to go on board with Dakota here. No push to pass this week.
No, your button to push to pass is your right foot. Coogan's still purple, 26.463. He set that a little bit earlier in the race, though.
Yeah, it looks like Dakota can't quite make this work. He's going to have to rethink this, how he can get around, how he can get back around Caleb, because Caleb made it work, and now Dakota's coming under pressure from Sanders and Blanton. Blanton's going inside.
So, yeah, your brain tells you want to go to that low line, and the thing is, the low line binds you up so much, you're just never really going to quite pull off that pass. What he needs to do is stay behind Caleb, probably downshift a little bit earlier, and get down to that white line and then really get into it, because then that's going to give you the most space to accelerate coming off the corner, and that might give you a good run down the front stretch, or one of the stretches. Yeah,
you can see these drivers. I'm actually riding on board with Sanders in P6, but everybody's taking just a slightly different line through these corners because of that dirty air, plus just fighting with the tires.
At Julian out to a 1.1, almost now a 1 flat lead, so it kind of goes back and forth. I know the bar is one of the things we were talking about in pre-race off air, is kind of what the bar settings are. Early in the run, you can get pretty aggressive loose with your bars, but as the car burns off the fuel, especially past half tank, that's where those snap loose instances come off of turn 2. that's when you probably want to start thinking about the snap loose is enough that adjusting the weight jacker probably is not going to necessarily fix that. You're probably looking at bar settings, and you're going to probably start inverting those bar settings as you go down further into your run. You might start at 1.6, you might end at 6.1.
So just a note, Caleb is 2.4 seconds back from Shane up there in P2. We'll have to see if that comes down any now that he's sort of slightly in clean air now, whereas Shane, being a second back from Julian, is not quite in clean air at the moment.
Well, even when you're in clean air, first of all, the arrow push reaches back about a second.
Yeah.
But even if you're in clean air, if the driver ahead of you continues to hit their marks, is in their rhythm, and they're not burning up their stuff, and I think that's how I kind of made my position toward the end of Montgomery, because I think he was burning his stuff up. If the driver in front of you is disciplined enough that they're not going to burn their gear up, you're going to find it really, really hard to gain that track position back, because everyone's really hitting about the same speeds at the end of the straights, hitting about the same speeds mid-corner, and having about the same speeds on exit.
So we're going to see Dylan Blanton is now pressuring Caleb Benzie right behind him. Dakota's just a couple tenths back from them as well. Let's go on board with Dakota and see how this battle up ahead of him looks. And Dakota looks like he's going to try to make the move here on Blanton, but we'll see if he actually pulls it off here in the end, if Blanton can come back out on the high side.
So we're coming up to lap 42. We are coming into the window where Julian's going to have to stop. But we're in the window. We're to the point where it's the drop dead point where he's going to have to stop.
Yeah, he has had a bunch of caution though, so that'll help. I think he can probably make it to 50, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is more of a heads up thing. I think he might be able to make it to 50, but we're getting in the neighborhood that he's kind of like, caution would be really good about now.
Yeah, and those tires are probably not feeling very good.
Well, they're not feeling well, but Coogan is definitely not making up time. Now, that said, Coogan probably knows that he has to pit, so why do I need to push?
Yeah, and actually I see Caleb, he's actually the slowest car in the top 5 at the moment, so Dakota's reeled him in just ever so slightly. Dakota's running really high through, I think that's turn 1 and 2. Dakota's going to make short work of him.
Now let's look at the time.
He comes back on the outside.
Let's look at the times of the top 5. Julian 198.046, Coogan 198.179, Benzie 196.615, DeMade 198.372, Blanton 198.447. I told you that's the speeds. They're almost the same, so you're not really making a lot of time on people.
Yeah. So that's kind of nuts that those are. I'm going to bring those up on the stream right now. These are last laps. We're running sub 200 mile an hour average laps out here, folks. So a little bit different than what we're used to from these Indy cars with this new tire model.
I think it's great. I think I don't like pack racing. I hate being in pack races. I think it's great. It puts the skill back into the driver's hand to make sure to separate yourself from others in the field. If the other driver is behind you, let's say they're not up to your caliber, they don't have the aid of the draft to keep them with you. They have to really rely on their skill. And if you're a better skilled driver, rightfully so, you should be able to you should maintain your position. I don't mean that negative to anybody. I'm just saying that's a fact of racing. So that gap between Coogan and Altena is still just 1 second. Dylan Blanton is now putting the pressure on Caleb Benzie up here for a third place. Blanton's probably just back there saving his stuff.
Yeah, this battle between about third and is it 7th? Yeah, this kind of a group of cars here that are still really close to each other, all the way from that podium position to 7th place.
All right, so we're now getting towards lap 50. We're going to start watching, seeing if Julian is going to make that dive to the entrance road coming just before turn 3. That's where they have to pit now. They can't dive off of 4 like NASCAR. IndyCar makes you come in off of turn 3. So pit in and getting in to that pit road is very critical. And he will go a lap down.
Yeah, he will. But he's going to be on fresh tires.
Right, he will be on fresh tires, but the one thing for the next 20 laps after that stop, he does not want to see a caution.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Caleb's fought off Blanton for the moment. Again, then Dakota's just 4/10 back from this group. These guys just been fighting each other. Garrison Hogan is working on Gavin Sanders. Hogan made a good move. That was like back there for about 10th position, so he's moved up the field. Hogan started 23rd, and he has moved it up to 6th, so really good run by him. And that Arrow Schmidt, well, it's McLaren livery now. I was about to say Schmidt-Peterson. I saw he got a little bit of loose coming out of turn 2, but he saved it.
Watching Julian and his in-car, from my point of view, smooth. Oh, they're spinning off of 2. I hear a spin off of 2. I don't know if we're going to get a yellow here.
It looks like it might have been Herman because he's hitting the pit lane.
Okay, Julian was wanting, please give me a yellow.
Yeah.
Doesn't get it. Julian's very smooth on the wheel. Not a lot of jerking. He's working between 5th and 4th gear. You thought maybe that he would go from 5th to 6th to help conserve, go some higher teeth, but no, he's doing it.
Hayden Herman lost it off of turn 2, but kept it off the wall. A really good piece of driving from him in that Fan and Fawny car. So he hits the pit lane, just gonna, he's already running slow on that backstretch. He hits the pit lane.
Yeah, you might as well.
Now he's gonna hope that this stays green, just like Julian's going to be.
Yep, and Julian's passing him right now as he's coming off of pit road. Julian, like I said, going between 4th and 5th, not doing 6 where you think maybe he would be conserving. He's trying to maintain that gap as much as possible between him and Shane.
Before this race, Gary, you were talking about how maybe you didn't need to practice all that many green flag stops. So it'll be interesting to see how Julian comes into the pits here, because this is just laps away, folks, from him having to hit the pit lane under green.
Well, we practiced them because I've lost a race here because of not hitting that pit road hard enough. So we practiced them, but we thought there would be more yellows than there were. But sometimes, you know how these races are. Typically at the front, there's like 2 or 3 yellows right up immediately, and then you have these long runs mid races, and then you have the late cautions. This is pretty much, I guess, standard for the course. I guess I was expecting a little bit more yellow. Julian's coming in. Julian is coming in.
And I was going to mention that Coogan had brought it down to about 0.8 of a second. Before that, Julian hit the pit lane.
Julian's spinning!
He loses it.
Oh, no.
This is what I meant about practicing pit entry.
And he
saved it, though. He saved it.
I have been a victim of that now. Hopefully he doesn't get a penalty for that.
I'm thinking he probably gets a penalty for that. That unsafe entry to the pits. They hit you hard on that.
He's asking for to see if he can get a black flag removed.
Cleared,
so
yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
I don't know what the call is there on that. Shane Coogan takes the lead here. Caleb Bensie's in P2. Under pressure from Garrison Hogan, who started 23rd. Big mover here.
Julian is sitting in the pits, so he is getting a penalty.
Yeah, I think if you clear that, you have to clear it for everybody, and that's a lot of clearing, a lot of management by the race control here to do that.
Does not sound happy.
No.
The attrition is actually rather high, I thought, for this race. I think we're down to 17 cars left out of the 25 or so started.
At the end of the day, well, yeah, Julian's toast because of the penalty, but I was going to say... and that's going to be like a 40-second penalty too, isn't it? So he's going to be a lap down plus whatever. His best hope is for everybody else to have to pit under green and then a caution come out and get that lap back. And with that said, Coogan up here is 5 seconds ahead of P2. Hogan made it around Bensy there.
Yeah, Altena 3 laps down, unfortunately.
Yeah, being 5 seconds ahead, he might have been wiser to just take a conservative approach to that pit lane. He was under pressure from Coogan, but you just gotta hope that the racing gods, don't throw a caution on him. But that's all said and done now. Let's do a through the field here. So we're about maybe 5 laps from these guys pitting. So Coogan's in P1, and Garrison Hogan in P2, Dylan Blanton in P3. Caleb Bensy started 9th up to 4th. That's our winner from last week and led a bunch of laps at Michigan. Gavin Sanders in P5. Dakota DeMades dropped a few positions here since that start of the race. Nicholas Isidro coming under pressure from Mark Johnson. He's in 7th and 8th behind him. Matthew Cosgrove in P9. John Freeze moving up from P16 to P10. Adam Nash in P11 from starting P20. Neil Lusher in P12. Van de Zandt, our pole sitter, running around in P13. He's got to have a little bit of damage, I think, but, he's keeping that car under him and is just going to try to get some points here. Baldwin's in 13th. He was involved in that, what was it, like a lap 2 crash there?
Yeah.
Had to make that green flag stop, but he got his lap back there, and our IndyCar Racing 2 car in P15, he had that pretty hard hit of the wall, the inside wall, but he's surviving out there.
It's only 1 lap down, so again, these guys all pit. He's off cycle. Something happened in that window. He's back in the catbird seat.
One interesting car to keep an eye on was that Hayden Herman. He had that spin off and then went straight to the pit lane. We'll have to see how he cycles through on everything, because he's going to be able to... if a yellow flag came out right now, he doesn't have to pit really, so.
You look right behind Shane is Julian. So Julian looking to get one of those 3 laps back.
Yeah, that'll be all important. As we went past halfway mark here earlier. Because our halfway was 63.
Here, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Here, radio traffic of people going to be pitting this lap in. So I think the pit stops are starting.
Well, we'll keep an eye on our leader, see if he hits the pit lane. Yeah, they're coming up on Hogan's 50 laps into his stint.
Now Hogan up 21.
Yeah.
Isidro up 12. Lusher up 11. Man, these guys definitely are masters of tire management.
Yeah, we've got quite a few cars on pit lane, but expecting a bunch more here momentarily.
Still out. So he's already passed turn 3, well, a bit ago, so we know he's in for at least another lap.
So this will, whatever strategy I was talking about with Herman there, he's going to lose out on that now. He's going to be on the same pit sequence as everybody else.
We are in the danger window for yellows as well. We got people with really used tires out there that can get snapped loose any moment, light tanks, and then we also have people out there with cold tires that might spin out coming up the speed, and then no adhesion, no grip, and they push up into the wall. So we are in kind of that danger zone right now.
Yep. And looks like
your
is
leader is
coming
coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, leader's coming in.
I saw that Caleb Bensy was also in the pit lane a lap ago, so he's already made a stop. Hogan's gonna...
Coogan coming in really quick. He twitched a little bit there, so he was right on the edge. Good for him.
Hogan's going to make this thing. A couple of these laps were under caution, but he's going to stay out and lead a lap. He's on 54 lap old tires. That was actually a couple laps sooner than Coogan was on. He was on 52 lap old tires.
Yep, and here he comes. He's making the dive on the pit road. I'm about to say, just go as long as you can. Here comes Dylan Blanton. He is now in the lead through the pit stop cycle.
Some of these guys are really masterful at saving fuel here, as I see Sanders also hits the pit lane. So everybody's looks to be, maybe they saw what happened to Altena there and don't want to do that to themselves. They don't need to get a black flag on that pit entry.
Dylan Blanton making a dive on the pit road.
He's up from P8. Yeah, he looks to kind of be taking a conservative approach into the pit lane. But with that said, a conservative approach into pit lane is not...
right. Dakota on pit road, he just making a dive down. So Mark Johnson now in the Al Unser Jr. livery picks up the lead.
Cycles into the lead. And he's on 55. This is a 55th lap of his stint. He's got to be hitting the pit lane. He's going to... Okay, there he dives late.
Yeah, over. That was...
Was that a Hogan that it was in front of there?
Yeah. That was a bit of a pucker moment. You know you need to get in there, but you got a car with fresh tires coming up behind you.
Yeah.
So now we have Lusher, who is going to pick up the lead, but he's coming in.
He's not going to quite lead a lap there. It was Johnson was still in the lead there.
So Coogan now is passing Lusher on pit road, and he will pass Johnson on pit road, and he will get the lead back with Hogan right behind him.
Well, I don't want to jinx Coogan, but I was telling him, he had that bad luck the last two races, and it was good to give him that podium interview in the Turbo Series there. But and I told him we'll see hopefully in the podium here in the next race, and obviously that's where he wants to be, and he's currently setting up exactly that. However, Hogan and Blanton, they're right there. They've gained some time through this cycle of pit stops here, and we've got a yellow flag.
Yellow.
And it's actually Julian Altena.
Oh, was it him?
He's in the wall anyway. I don't know if he's the only one. Let's see what we've got.
Is Dakota in the wall?
It might be Dakota and Julian.
I see damage. Yeah, I saw Voltic pistol color parts on the backstretch. So looks like Dakota's in the wall, or he's damaged. And
Julian lost it. I'm watching it. Julian lost it and slid down on Dakota there. So they are not going to be very happy.
They kind of had a little bit of a run-in last week at... and Julian goes right to toe, so his night's done. He made up 2 of the laps that he was down. He was only a lap down, but those two had a kind of a bit of a run-in at Montreal last week. So Christmas cards, virtual Christmas cards, physical Christmas cards, I doubt it this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. Dakota's car looks okay, but he's going to have to bring it to pit lane for some repairs. Let's quickly do a commercial for our sponsors there, as we have less than 50 laps to go.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back as Dakota DeMade's on pit lane. It's going to pass the wrecked car of Julian Altena. I can see that Alex Van de Zandt also on the pit lane, getting some fresh rubber.
I'm surprised, and I don't know what Shane's strategy is, so I'm not going to say he's making a bad call. He might have his own plan, but certainly when we were into the second half of the race, well deep into the race, Julie and I were talking about if there was ever any yellows that we would kind of regardless of where it was in the cycle, we would still pit because we were already past the final window to get enough fuel to make it to the end.
I
Because
think
we were looking more for tires. So I'm surprised that these guys at least didn't go in for tires.
Yeah, so it's 50 laps of fuel, right? Just about, unless you have a bunch of caution to get to the end. So if I was Shane and them, I probably would have hit pit lane.
But he might also learn something from being behind Julian with used tires.
Yeah, he won a track position, and he's going to hope that there's enough cautions to make those 7 laps he's currently on his stint not matter. Looks like Dakota's going to come back in to the pit. Yeah, really high attrition here. I've heard that, seeing some feedback from other people, as I see Dakota and Julian are in the waiting room down there together. But
hold on, let me see. Are they lighting up? No, they're not lighting up right now.
I don't know if it would actually light up for us, but yeah. What I was going to say was that I've noticed, so the Fix Series is at Vegas this week. I've heard that there's a lot of attrition with this new tire model at Vegas this week. So, we're seeing more of the same of that.
Well, I do know in the Vegas, I did some Vegas fixed Indy practice at Vegas. Between a car fresh tires versus a car not fresh tires, like halfway through a stint or 3/4, it's almost a tenth a lap faster, even though that and that's with no traffic in front of me. I had a guy beating me down to about a tenth a lap. I had about 30 laps on the tires, and he just came out fresh, and he stormed up a tenth a lap in really no time at all. So it wasn't any for sake of me not giving any effort to try to stay ahead of him. It's just the fact that the tires were giving up and he was catching up that much just because of friction and everything with the tire model. But we're getting ready to go green.
Yes, we are. As Coogan leads, Garrison Hogan, though, he's actually, does he have the fastest lap of the race?
Yeah, he does. I don't know when he set it. 26.372.
Yeah, so he's been fast. He started.
That's a 202.
23rd position.
Yep, and that's a 202.222 for speed. So that's a pretty stout lap. Okay, so everyone's taking that defensive position up near the wall. Those that are trying to conserve fuel got the fuel position. We're probably in engine map 8, now back in engine map 1 because you do not want to restart in engine map 8.
I did that. I started the race in fuel mode 8. It was a standing start, too.
Everybody's done that at one point. And here we go. Field's under the control of Shane. Is he going? And he gets a big jump.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the rules are here, but some leagues only go on green and don't let the leader choose. But I think it's whenever the leader wants. Going back to Caleb's starts at Michigan, it was certainly whenever the leader wanted to go.
I prefer that, to be honest with you, because that's really how real IndyCar racing is. Real IndyCar racing, that last lap, before they go green, that pace car gets the hell out of there and really gives these guys a time to wind up. I don't like how you have to follow the pace car so closely here, and you don't really get that run the green other than that short little window when really it's when the pace car clears the racing surface is really when you can go. A lot of people wait till the pace car dips behind the wall so you know you're safe and you don't pull a Scott Goodyear. So he got himself a good lead. He's out a half second over Hogan.
Yeah, but Hogan is right there. We'll see what he can do. I want to say when Julian was leading there that he had checked out a little bit more on Coogan than Coogan has on Hogan so far.
Cutting it. Hogan's got it down to 0.3 of a second. He's taking a slightly lower line in the turn, in both turns on both ends of the track. Let's check out. Let's watch him here.
I'm just gonna go on board with him.
Blanton behind him, way up on the wall.
Gotta be careful not to brush that, though.
Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that, but Indy cars don't like friction against that.
No, they do not. No, we saw early on with Alex up there that You know, he brushed it. We saw sparks. Survived, though.
So Hogan got as close as 3/10 and is now back to 5.5 seconds. So maybe he got a little close to that arrow wash.
I think some of these guys are going to wish that they had run that turbo race with you guys tonight. Because obviously it was you, Julian, and Coogan here. You guys had an advantage. And everybody had the opportunity to run it. You can run a few of those turbo races, and maybe the next time. You know, this is probably the most valuable one to have run with the new tire model coming down.
Oh yeah, I expect the Indianapolis field to be pretty full.
Yeah. So Dakota looks like he's running okay laps, so he survived that incident, but again, he's in P10, so he's just going to be kind of stuck in that dirty air from here on out.
Well, yeah, but he's good to go to the finish, isn't he?
He is, because these guys with the front, if this goes green till the end, they can't make it. Yeah.
Coogan is not.
Anybody that stayed out, and that is from first position to 7th position, cannot make it to the end if this goes green. And I'm certainly kind of hoping it does. I mean, I don't want to. I just want to see that happen. I have no.
I'm all for drama. I don't want to wish ill will on any of these guys, but I'm all for drama.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm curious to see how it pans out. But you know what? If I'm Coogan and I've seen the past history of this race, I'm pretty much banking on a caution. Now, Julian didn't get it when he wanted it, but it almost happened for Julian. In this case, it might just happen it might just pan out for Coogan this way. He's already had a good night. Luck's with him. What the heck? Throw the dice. Speaking of Vegas.
Yeah. Even though we're not in Vegas, we're in Homestead. I'm sure there's a casino near here somewhere. Do they do that in Florida, don't they? I don't know.
They have one of those reservation casinos down. I don't know.
Honestly, I have no idea. So yeah.
It's got the track's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I was reading about that one time. Was it kind of like swampland, and then they built a track on it? I'm not 100% sure.
So they got some reconstruction fundage from the hurricane that went through there that really destroyed the place. And
was it Andrew?
Yeah, so they decided to put it into a facility to kind of bring some commercial and tourist dollars back into the area. So they built the racetrack. Originally, the racetrack, it was 1.5 miles, but it was a 1.5 mile version of Indianapolis. It was kind of a mini Indy, odd-shaped looking rectangle, four-corner, little bit of a short shoot type track. But the way the kart was racing it, Indy Racing never went there until it was reconfigured. But the kart cars, the way that they were running that stuff, it was the short shoot was so small, they never straightened the car out. The car was like one continuous turn from the apex of 1 to the apex of 2. But they found out through, I think, Nemechek's son got injured in a truck race and died as a result of the injuries because of the blunt corner and the shallowness of hitting those barriers. This is before softer barriers. They decided that rounding the track out would be the better way to go. So the second reconfiguration of the track, or the first reconfiguration of the track, was a flat paperclip, 1.5 mile oval. And it wasn't until a little bit later where they added the progressive banking. So you're actually looking at Homestead in its third iteration.
Yeah, I like all of them, honestly. I kind of wish that we had an opportunity to run one of those, either the paperclip one you mentioned or the rectangular version, the initial version. The one thing I remember just like visually on that rectangular one was just the apron area was just this like massive yellow curbing looking thing. So
it was a really odd looking curb there too. Yeah, you're right.
It was not aesthetically pleasing.
No, and they were obviously shooting for the Indy look and feel, but it didn't happen that way. I tell you what, iRacing, you open the door with the iRacing Super Speedway. we know you could do it now. You
Yes.
can actually make those versions of this track available, and we could race on them, and we will definitely buy them, which is people have shown with the new tracks that become recently available in this recent build.
Yeah, I want to see, and I know it's not one of your favorites, Gary, but Nazareth needs to be saved before it's completely gone. So I hope they can at least, there's probably some GPS something they can do there still to figure out and then guess on what the track surface was like, a little bit like they did on that iRacing Speedway.
They reconstructed the track for IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, so it's possible.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible. Yeah, I mean, if you have all the dimensions and everything, you really don't need to do a scan track of any type. You could just, virtually reconstruct it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not a favorite track of mine, I'd be happy to see another oval first of all, and I would race it, even though I would probably complain every single lap. But on that note, I would love to see, but it'd probably be huge licensing costs, the Walt Disney World Speedway.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out that it's basically a parking lot now, but you can sort of see where the track used to be still. I was looking at satellite pictures a couple months ago to look at it over there. I'm going to make one last comment about the old Homestead. So I think there was that Super Speedway IMAX movie. Do you remember this one, Gary?
But they had the pods on the Newman Haas cars.
Yeah, so that was filmed, I'm pretty sure, here. Because they couldn't film it at Indianapolis because of split stuff.
Yeah.
So they did it there because it was like, the closest looking thing to Indianapolis. I guess that was the thought. But that's one of the places that you can see that, and it's full glory.
Well, we're coming up on, 25 laps to go here soon. You might want to go through the field and see where everyone is.
Yeah, we're kind of spreading out, although Hogan is keeping it right there. So Coogan's in the lead. Hogan's only 4/10 back, though, so he's maintaining that position.
Hogan had a twitch coming off a 2.
Yeah, this is getting to be the point where that twitch happens. Blanton's in P3. Going back to Hogan, though, he started, P23? And then we've got Sanders in P4. Bency, our winner from last week, he's coming under pressure from Mark Johnson.
Underneath him, we'll stick with this one. What happens here? Johnson on the low side is not the fastest line. It is the shortest line, and he is actually going to pull that off. Very impressive.
I wonder if anybody's saving fuel back here, though.
Well, Bency to the inside, going to 3.
Caleb goes back inside.
But, again, the faster line is up top, and he is unable to hold the line and to keep the position. So, Mark Johnson, nice move. Bravo, sir. And now he's able to hold that position for good.
Yeah. So, we're going back to 7th position as Cosgrove's moved up. He started 13th, running in 7th. Nicholas Isidro, so he was back at some point in time. He was back in like the 20th position. He started 19th. He's up to 8th. He's had a bad couple of races here start of the season. I think he had a disconnect at the start of a session. He had some good runs last season. He won, I want to say he won the Indianapolis race last season. I'd have to double check that stat though.
Weren't you saying that we think from 7th on back? Oh, and Isidro just disappeared on me, so he's still having connection errors.
Yeah.
7th on back, we think are good to go.
I think from Isidro back are good to go. Van de Zandt in P9, and Dakota DeMade in P10, John Fries in P11, Hayden Herman in P12, running that pink car.
Herman is doing here soon, and so is Fries. They're towards the end of the lead lap, but they are their last stop. Fries was 66, Herman was 51.
Yeah, Herman's going to have to pit, and he's in that phone fanny car is what was on my... And he's pitting right now as he comes to pit lane. So he's going to be kind of hoping that everybody else has to do green flag stops too, like Coogan in there, but... I really want to see what happens with if
Mark Johnson just gets around Gavin Sanders. He is now in P4, so he is really saving his gear.
So Sanders' last lap was a 27.4. Johnson ran a 27. Was it 26.9?
Cosgrove down on the low. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Cosgrove down on the low side of Bencio in a 1 and 2, and he has the position. So Bencio is now falling back. I don't know if he's trying to conserve, or he just the tires are going away.
I think they're trying to save fuel. That's my only guess. But yeah, I might be wrong. Maybe this Cosgrove's got a better car at this point.
Let's go inside Vincey's car.
He doesn't seem like he's saving fuel, though.
No, he's in 4th gear there.
Unless
where
he's running
fourth.
Fuel mode 5.
He's twitchy. Yeah. He's twitchy. But he's 5th gear going into turn 3, which he should. Oh, he did a little 6, but he's in the draft. That's fine. 4th gear, where he should be in 4th gear. Coming off
2/10 on Coogan. And Blanton is right there on Hogan. So this battle for the lead is really brewing. I can see Isidro's blinking constantly, so with the field being spread out, he's probably going to be safe, but...
if there's a restart, I can see that. I know that the league admins kind of put a thing out there saying, hey, we're going to be nice about this, but at some point it's not fair to the other drivers, so to speak. So is he making? No, he's making a defensive move.
Yeah.
Coogan looks like he was doing a pump fake to pit road, or it was a defensive move. Either way, it kind of threw off the guys behind, but they are still there. But I feel the guy's pain. Oh, inside move for P2.
He makes that stick big time.
And he has a run-on-1. He might just pull this one off. He might just get him before he gets the... He is all over the gearbox here coming to the 3. He's going to take the high line. Coogan stays down low.
I think Blanton is... he doesn't want to save any fuel. He's just going to go for it and hope for that caution.
If you're not going to make it, go.
Yeah.
But back to the flashing participants. Yeah, I feel for you. And I hope they can get that taken care of. It's unfortunate, and I've been behind someone that's flashed, and it caused me issues. I understand what it's like for being a competitor out there, and I know they don't want to be flashing. So
yeah, and after all, it was the Race First broadcast here that was basically flashing earlier in the night. So internet issues here, so I understand that completely.
Okay, we hear blinking out completely. Looking to the inside, a little aggressive there.
I think he had to back off a little bit, not where he wanted to.
Yeah, the draft is pretty good here, and he might have got up there a little bit closer than he wanted to.
Yeah, I saw some sparks go off of Coogan there too, so he got a little high there.
So again, Blanton with the run, going into 3, going to take a look, and not as ambitious as he was last time. That's fine.
Yeah.
Taking that high line, he might get him by the time they reach turn 1. No, Shane takes a slightly defensive approach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the right line is here. Like, how do you get around this guy? How do you get around Coogan? He's making it work, although...
He's going to the top now. If Coogan has to let go a little bit, he's going to lose him, and Coogan cannot move up on him now.
I think this could be our pass for the lead here.
So if you pinch Coogan down just a little bit, nope, he sticks. He
made it. I thought... And
over-under!
This is coming down to it, folks. He was really close on that, almost to the 8
side
white
by
line.
side, off of 4. Who gets it at the line? Coogan, barely.
Just powering off on that high line, just a little bit better. I thought he might get him.
He comes in there. Sorry,
he chopped him a little bit there, but
that's
all
okay.
is fair. All is fair.
All is fair. You hit him with a little bit of the bad air. Julian and I were talking about that in the turbo practice, that we thought that might be a night of slide jobs. It didn't turn out to be that way, but hey, that I'm not going to say that's a dirty move at all. That's he had an opening. His spotter told him he was clear. He's good to go.
That is right. I've seen much worse chops.
So 10 to go coming this time by, correct?
Correct. And one thing of interest here is Blanton, I don't know exactly how this happened, but he's on 43. This is lap 43 of his stint, whereas Coogan and Hogan are on lap 45 of their stint. So he's got somehow 2 laps as he goes really high through turn 1 and 2, I believe that was. Almost brushing the wall. That was really high.
Oh, we got a spinner up at 2, and that is your 3rd place car.
Whoa, do we have a caution? And we have a caution.
That's exactly what Coogan wanted to see.
Yeah.
Now, is he going to be able to make enough mileage under the caution? Because he's going fuel map 8, engine map 8, 6 gear, and he's going to milk it all the way to the pace car. But is he going to have enough to make it to the finish now, or is he going to have to stop?
I'm watching the replay of Hogan losing it. So he hit the white line coming out of turn 2, but he does a great job of keeping his car off the wall. He's going to be happy about bringing out that caution and saving, luckily he got that caution. I don't think he's going to lose a lap or anything, so good for him. But,
pit road is open, I believe, because we see guys coming down, starting with Caleb, I believe.
Coogan's going to stay out, yeah. Is it top 4 or so are going to stay out? I think I would hit pit lane if I was driving here and just, like you're say 5th, like Caleb, worst place you can finish in this race, assuming you don't crash. But if you're on the lead lap, is like 9th.
All right, he is clutching it. Coogan is clutching it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be clutching it, and I wouldn't want to be on old tires.
Yeah, he is clutching it. I can see by the revs that he is.
I'm going to take a moment to have a commercial break here.
Yeah, it might be a good time to do that, yeah.
Yep.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back to live pictures. Is pace car lights still on, or are they out? I'm trying to get back up.
No,
there.
they are still on,
Okay.
and we had some other cars make a bit of an extra or late stop to their kind of back marker. They want to get out of the way so that the leaders can finish this unabated.
Yeah, and I guess we're gonna do like IndyCar rules where they lap cars get out of the way. Is that what we're saying, or?
Well, I don't. I think they might have done it voluntarily, and I'm not quite sure how the admins are going to take this one out.
Leading car of the cars that pit is Van de Zandt in 5th, and then followed by Caleb Bensi and Dakota DeMade. So 5th through basically 5th and on have pit. They'll have fresh tires. This is going to be quite the show here to the end here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If I'm in Shane's cockpit right now, if I check my my Apple Watch, I'm sure my heart rate, even though I'm not really in a car, is probably sky high.
Yeah. Hey, everybody out there watching, make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the stream, enjoyed the race out here today, and make sure to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified for any Race Verse broadcast coming up. Our next race will be 2 weeks from now. We're skipping next week with the happy holidays and Merry Christmas out there. We will have 2 weeks. It'll be Watkins Glen Cup Classic. No bus stop. And hey, one last thing we want to talk about is we had a new a fan come out here today. You want to talk about that, Gary?
Yes. Congratulations to league participant. We have a new addition to the family. I believe it's
it was Donchek.
Yeah, Peter Donchek today and his wife celebrated the birth of their son. So I believe it's their first child. Congratulations. That's why Peter's not joining us tonight, but he gets a pass.
Yes, he does.
Hopefully his wife's labor was a lot less intensive than my wife's labor. My wife was in labor like 26 hours. That's a whole other story. We're coming to green, though, so
Yes,
let's
we
get back
are.
down to racing.
But we got that in there.
But congratulations to those guys. Glorious day. Great start by Coogan, so he gets a bit of a gap. He is doing the weave, trying to break the draft. Blanton is right with him.
I want to keep an eye on these cars that have fresh tires, like Van de Zandt and Bensie here. Bensie's on the outside of Van de Zandt.
Well, and that's the thing. Because you have fresh tires, doesn't mean you're good to go for the first lap or so. You need to break
3 wide.
tire.
Hogan's going down the middle. Oh boy. I'm glad I cut back in from the leaders to just see that. That was nuts.
It was like a flying wedge formation.
Yeah.
Well, Coogan's definitely wanted to see that in his rearview mirror. I'll tell you like that.
Hogan made that work on the really high side there. He's going to work on Johnson next as we head up to the lead. So Coogan's just trying to survive here. 4 laps to go. With that said, Coogan's last lap was his best lap of the race.
26.387.
Yeah, that's...
Take that, everybody.
Yeah.
Use tires, nothing.
Yeah, I think Hogan had that really great restart, but I think Shane's going to hold on.
Well, as they say, you still got to finish them. 2 to go. Looking for the near sweep, unfortunately.
Yes.
I think he learned a lot from the last one. So that next big race where there's going to be a white flag here, I think, where there's going to be that big Turbo Cup, Schaeffer Cup crossover, I think we're going to see a little bit more Schaeffer guys in the Turbo Cup race.
Yeah, I would say so. Final lap, white flag out here. Shane Coogan. 8 tenths of a second up there.
Right down to the apex, giving himself plenty of room away from that apron. Off of turn 4. Very comfortable. Congratulations.
Takes the victory.
So it takes a little bit of a sour start to the season out of his mouth for a victory today, and maybe salvages a little bit of the points championship for him.
It looks like Caleb dropped back a couple positions there at the end and finished off 8th to go to got by him. But yeah, congratulations to Shane. We're going to be getting our interviews here momentarily. A race of attrition here with 14 cars coming across the finish line. Isidro, we were talking about him. He was the blinker at one point in time, but he dropped out there.
Yeah, he dropped out, yeah.
As Coogan.
Victory Donuts
Victory
time.
Donuts, yeah.
Time to make the donuts.
He won the, let me think here. I want to say he won the last race of the season at Gateway, and he also won the last race in the Velocity Online Racing League as well.
Great finish there at California. If I didn't have a crappy restart on that race, I would have been right there with them.
I had front wing damage in that particular race, but anyway... congratulations to Shane. We'll be right back, and then we will get our podium interviews going. And I'll bring up Shane. Hey Shane, second time up here tonight into the broadcast booth, but I think this one is a little bit better for you, isn't it? Congratulations. Great job. Apparently you saved enough fuel. How much did you have at the finish line there? Yeah, I kind of was guessing that you were saving because the Dylan and I think it was Garrison, maybe Mark Johnson, all were kind of catching you at the end. But I felt like everybody was saving a little bit, but I felt like you were saving a little bit more than everybody else out there. Early on, though, you were behind Julian, and he had older tires, and I think that kind of showed you. It was really hard to pass here because he had slightly older tires. Yeah.
A little worried about that because, I guess when you're the leader, you kind of have to pit, but he stayed out. And if he would have gotten a yellow, he would have, done one less stop. So that was a good strategy move. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he ran out of Monster or something, but no, he was fast. And
well, big congratulations. Next race is actually Watkins Glen Cup. No bus stop. So any thoughts about that race?
Yeah, that should be fun. That brings back Grand Prix Legends memories going down that hill without a bus stop. So that should be interesting. I like the Glen, so try to get some practice and try to run up front.
Sounds good. Well, really good night for you. This is going to be a lot of points here in the Cup Series. And I think that you're going to show some of these guys that opted to not do that turbo race that they probably should have done that turbo race to get some knowledge about this track and this new tire model.
Yeah, that was good practice. And I don't know what happened to Alex there. I got to watch the start again, but I got a good jump. And I don't know if we touched or the guy behind him got touched, but I definitely felt like I had a good feel for it after that warm-up race.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Man.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt and Gary. Thanks for the broadcast. Thanks to Reddit IndyCar League. And this one is for my friend Zane. Shout out to my friend Zane. So I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Shane. Take care. All right, we'll pull up our second place position. Hey, Dylan, we got you up in the booth here.
Hey guys.
Heck of a race. You started 8th, finished 2nd. You were putting some pressure on Shane there at the end.
Before the caution came out, I think he was saving fuel, so I was trying to take advantage, but I couldn't get the track position there. So I kind of got burnt by that caution, and then after that, the clean air just won out.
Do you think you could have made it had the caution not come out, or was that too much to ask?
I was good. I was about 0.6 of a gallon to the good. I was saving throughout the run when I could in the drafts, Garrison and Shane.
Wow. So that car, I think it was it was Garrison who brought out the caution, wasn't it, Gary? I think it was.
Yeah, the Schmidt Peterson or McLaren Aero car. Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be interviewed next. But good run there, Dylan. You made it exciting for us. At one point, Shane had a pretty good gap, but you made that pretty exciting for us at the end there. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Anybody watching? Any family? Any sponsors? Something like that?
I'll say hey to my brother Dustin if he does tune in later. So hey, second's good, right?
Yeah, it's the podium here. We've got podiums, at least on the ovals here and the road courses. Unlike, I guess IndyCar only does the podiums on the road courses, right? Well, congratulations on that second place. I'm not sure where that's going to put you in the points, but that'll be a pretty good points haul, and we'll go talk to Garrison and see how his race was.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, take care. Hey, Garrison, got you up in the booth here. You started 23rd position and you finished 3rd. He's got his mic on mute.
Yes, sorry.
There you go.
I had to turn that one down. But yeah, man, drove from the back and took my time. Honestly, this is the first time I'm really driving an IndyCar on the ovals like that. Like I was telling my chat, like I've only driven the oval side of IndyCar maybe 5 times or less. That's 2 IndyCar fixed races in official, so this is it.
Well, I think that was a pretty good run for you. Did you decide to, qualify at the back just to stay out of trouble, or was that all she had in qualifying? Because you certainly had the race car.
To be honest, guys, I literally start at the back every week. Like I said, I'm learning for the first time, so I'm starting at the back on purpose. If anybody wonders, like, yes, I just come from the back and make my way up slowly, and from there at the end, I just go for it. If not, then I try to just finish where I can. And tonight was one of those situations. I didn't know how to work the fuel mileage. I kind of just put in a different mapping and did what I normally do in NASCAR, just conserve fuel by lifting off the throttle a little bit. But it didn't work out because obviously I spun, and then it did work out in my favor when I made that move late in the race on that restart. So that was good that worked out.
Well, I would say when you spun, it was a good thing the caution came out, right?
Yeah, it was a good thing. It was a very fortunate situation for me. So I guess that is the good part about it.
Yeah, we had some guys that ended up spinning both in the turbo race and this race that didn't bring out the caution, but you lucked out. The caution came out, and you got those fresh tires, and you made it was really exciting. I was watching, I think it was maybe Caleb and Alex, and then all of a sudden you were in the middle, and you were going by both of them. And I know both Alex and Caleb were really fast, so that's a pretty impressive move by you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was honestly just having spatial awareness, and kind of goes back to the NASCAR stuff, just having everything from there translate to over here with the oval side, and just paying attention to where the cars are.
Hey, any thoughts going to Watkins Glen? I have to say this over and over. Watkins Glen Cup, no bus stop. That is the next race in 2 weeks.
Brand new as far as me just, being in the IndyCar and running there. Usually when I'm running there, it's always with the bus stop. So it's going to be interesting for sure. I'll try to do some races this week. They have the BMW there. I believe it's a fixed series. And then in a couple weeks, I think they have the Ferrari there. So in between, of course, we'll have the IndyCar race, but I'll try to do some BMW this week to kind of get a feel for it, and kind of test it on my own as well without the bus stop to get a feel for that part of the track.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting for us up here in the broadcast booth. I'm looking forward to that one. Somebody showed me a replay of another race recently, and it was a pack race that was on a road course. So we'll see what happens.
Well, if it is, like I said, I'm brand new to everything here, so I'll just take my time, pick my spots, and try to pass and do what I can to get up front and race for the win. That's what I'm here for.
Hey, did we ask you if anybody you want to thank out there, people watching, friends, family, any sponsors?
No sponsors in this series, but just want to, thank my chat who's watching right now on Twitch. They were here for most of that race. They've been here for the last 2 races, just watching me, just cheering me on, and just kind of being here for the experience, the ride that I'm on. So it's good to have them around, and everyone else, from my oval team on Dead Zone, they've just been there kind of here and there watching probably. So
I think I just remembered. So you're you have 5,000 iRating, don't you, on the oval side?
What am I at right now? I think it's like 6.4K.
Okay.
So,
well, I think when you joined the league, it was something really high. So I was telling some other drivers that I talked to a lot. I said, watch out for this guy. So yeah, you're the oval meister, I think. So more you learn of these cars, the more threat you're going to be.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So hopefully it works out. And the really big race I'm trying to go for is that Indy 500 or 300, I guess is what it's called. So that's the one I'm going to really shoot for to win it.
Well, congratulations here. Really good run. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to take us out here, Gary. Let's do a run through of the final standings here, and thank everybody for watching and putting up with some of our stream issues tonight, but I think we sorted it out. I had 0 dropped frames since we went live for this race, so that's good. So congratulations to Shane Coogan, Dylan Blanton, Garrison Hogan in P3. Do you want to do any of this, Gary, or I can run through it?
Actually, I need to talk with league admins and actually get myself added to this particular league, because even though I watch the race with you, and I can see the standings while we do the broadcast, once the race is over, I can't pull the standings up anymore. So
okay. Interesting.
So it's up to you, but feel free to send it back to me, because I do have shout outs before the holiday.
Okay, yeah, well, so Alex Van Zandt, P5, that's a really good finish by him for having that issue earlier. Yeah, recovery by him. Matthew Cosgrove, P6, Dakota DeMade, and P7. I can see some messages from Dakota here coming in, so we'll be interested to see what happened there. Caleb Bensi in P8, Neil Lusher, P9, John Fries in P10, Conor Baldwin, P11, Adam Nash, P12, Hayden Herman, and that Fanny... I have to read it. I keep forgetting what that livery is. I'm gonna lose it again. Anyway, really good livery on his car. Christopher Albee in P14. Nicholas Isidro had a really strong run going at one point up to about P7, P8, ends up P15. And then I bring up the grid by accident. Okay, so Gavin Sanders, P16. So Gavin, really strong run at Montreal. I know that ovals are new to him, so he's going to, need some more experience on these ovals. Julian Altena led early. Did not quite work out for him on that entry to the pits. Angelo Espo, P18. Drew White with that really cool Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior livery. Michael Berry in P20, Nathaniel Johnson, P21, John De Matteo, P22, Cole Stranahan, P23, Wes Shear. We didn't hear much of him in that Homestead coffee car, P24, and Joseph Decino. I don't think he started the race because he ended up in P25. So any more shout outs you had, Gary, you were mentioning?
No, I just like to say with the holidays coming up, happy holidays. I want everyone to stay safe and healthy, and I hope I know a lot of travel is not going to happen this year, but I hope everyone is happy, healthy, and gets everything they want for Christmas. I do want to shout out, I have real sponsors now myself. I want to shout out to Fiber Data Exchange and Midwest Internet Exchange thanks for sponsoring me, as well as Roma Collectibles. They will appear in my car here soon. Maybe we'll get them to be a sponsor of some of these races on these broadcasts in the future. But thanks a lot for having faith in me, and for you for having me on the show again. I always enjoy being here. Hopefully add something to the broadcast, and I hope everyone in the chat had a fun time.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, Gary. Hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas together, and everybody else watching out there still, even though the race has been over, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. And we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time.
A Glen.
At the Glen. That's right. All right. Everybody take care of themselves, and we'll see you then.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.